It's the old prospector. Why did the pig dump her boyfriend? He was a real bore.
I think I'm losing my mind.
What's up, MAXlife? Welcome back to our MAXlife resource in our series, Going Mental. Now, growing up, my house had a basement, and I loved hanging out in the basement. I would hang out and I'd play in the basement, but the basement was gigantic. And the first part of the basement was a garage, and my mom kept her car there. My dad parked his boat there, and my dad would use the basement to paint signs in, and I loved opening the garage doors. And as they would open, I would pretend that I was in the tunnel for the Chicago Bulls. That's right, the Chicago Bulls. And I would bust out of the tunnel to the basketball goal, dribbling my basketball and practicing my Jordan dunk moves, actually layups, because PC could not dunk. Close, but no, never dunked. Maybe there's hope.
Hey, listen to this, man. Aaron Gordon has been the most unique slam dunker in the contest, in the history of the contest. Yo, he's in it.
There's not. And I remember this one time that we had my birthday party and it was going to get rained out until my parents decided to move everything and everybody in the basement. And we had a 10-foot sub down there. My buddies and I were eating on and playing games. Man, the basement held a bunch of memories. And the basement was epic. It was where I learned how to lift weights. It was where I grew up. And the basement had a staircase of 13 steps on it. And I would always race and see how fast I could go up it or down it to scale the staircase. Luckily, I never broke my neck or busted my head wide open. But I loved hanging out in the basement until it was dark. That's right, until it was dark, because when it was nighttime, the basement was a very dark place. We had lights down there, but if the lights were off, it would be pitch dark. And the garage doors, they actually had windows in the top of them. And at night, I would get creeped out because I would always think somebody's watching me through the windows. Plus, the basement had eerie sounds. You could hear people moving upstairs, but it's like they were a long ways off, and the house would pop and it would creak, and all of a sudden the freezer would kick on and scare me to death. The basement could be a very dark place, and so could your mind. That's right, your mind can be a very dark place as well. This week we're going to be talking about depression. Pastor Jim talked about this last week. We want to continue the discussion about depression with our students. Now, here is Matt Chasey with some very interesting factoids about depression. Thank you, PC, and thank you for helping shine some light on depression, because it can be like your parents' basement, a very dark place. Help me to keep from going mental! Let's go and set the numbers, friends, on some depressing factoids. For more than 3,000 years, depression has been recognized as a common problem among people. It is said that about 1 in 8 American teenagers suffers from depression or anxiety. Health professionals say that depression has an impact on nearly everybody if we consider folks that actually are depressed, or the family members that in our lives that may struggle with it, or our friends, folks that we work with or go to school with. So basically, we all will be affected / impacted by depression, either directly or indirectly, or both. Depression is so common that it's known as the common cold of mental health, and that most of us will experience it in our lifetime. For the person that's going through depression, it is not common, and it can be a very dark place for them. Remember, our big idea for this series, and we have a big but coming at you, so be ready. Here we go. It is okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. Back to you, PC. Mad Chasey just crushed it. I'll be here for the rest of the resource. Thank you, Mad Chasey. And yes, you totally crushed that. Nice job. All right, students. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. And you are never alone. We are here to help you. We can help you get help for this. We can help you find a counselor if you need one, and to seek medical help as well. And these things are good, especially since depression is a medical condition, because it truly is. I even struggled with depression when I was your age. That's right. Your pastor, PC, struggled with depression as a middle school student. So if you're dealing with anything like this, then please talk about it. Don't be ashamed of it. Talk to your coach during live chats or trusted adults, because we want to pray for you. We want to encourage you and walk alongside of you during this season of your life. Did you know that the word depression is not even found in the Bible? Say what? I mean, it's really not. But the condition of depression and anxiety is mentioned a lot in the Bible, and most of the key players of the Christian faith actually dealt with it in some form or another. Did you catch that? Most of the key players of the Christian faith actually dealt with it in some form or another. This is so important for every one of us to understand, because a lot of us want to mask the things that we're going through and act like we're perfect and we have it all together. But guess what? Nobody's got it all together. Nobody's perfect. So we got to talk about this stuff. And I love the Bible shows us the struggles of the leaders of the Christian faith, because through their struggle, the Bible shows us on how to get through the tough times in our life. This week, we're going to continue to look at King David. He writes many times in the book of Psalms about his anguishes, about his loneliness, about his fear of the enemy, his harsh cry over sin, and the guilt he struggled with because of it. And I'm confident that David struggled with depression because of his highs and his lows that he writes about and sings about in the Psalms, and because of all the things that's happened to him in his life. So let's look at Psalms chapter 69. And as we read this, think about the things that King David is going through. We're going to check out verses 13 through 15. And it says this, it says, "But I pray to you, Lord, in the time of your favor, in your great love, O God, answer me with your salvation." He says, "Rescue me from the mire. Do not let me sink. Deliver me from those who hate me, from the deep waters. Do not let the flood waters engulf me, or the depths swallow me up, or the pit close its mouth over me." Wow, right? I mean, just reading that makes me feel anxious, but I love it because King David is so raw. I mean, I love it. In this psalm, King David is showing us that he has faith and he has hope, even when he sees and he feels that his entire world is collapsing in on him. He still sees and he knows that he has faith and he has hope. I love that. And here's the thing. We should model exactly what David is doing. When we are scared and feel lonely or feel anxiety or depressed, we should be calling out to God. Repeat. All right. When we are scared and lonely or feel anxiety or depressed, we should be calling out to God. But during those times when you're feeling like that, do you think it's easy? Heck no, especially if you are in a dark place, but we still have to do it. But one of the coolest things that you will see as you read about David is that even in his depression and in his dark places, he is still praying and holding on to his faith in God, that God will save him. So there are three things that we can learn from watching the patterns in the Psalms, because as you read the Psalms, you'll definitely see patterns for sure. All right, so here's Matt Chasey to help us with the first one. Thanks, PC. All right, students, coming at you in 3, 2, 1, numero uno. Here we go. Notice that it's not insta-pluckification. What? Insta-pluckification. Read my lips one more time. Insta-pluckification. Here it is. That's the thought that God is just going to pluck you out of every situation like you're a toy at the grab game at Frankie's. The claw, the claw. I love Frankie's. Who loves Frankie's? Frankie's is the jam. But God can do what he wants. He's God. But notice that God didn't instantly pluck King David out of the times that he was going mental. What you want to add, PC? Coming back at you. That's right. Seeing that and knowing that, we can know that just because we're going through a dark place and you're calling out to God to make our dark place go away, God might not pluck us out of that dark place, but he will help you and equip you to walk through it. And that is vital for us to understand. All right, Matt Chasey, give us the second thing that we can learn from reading the Psalms. Okie dokie pokey, numero dos. Another thing we learn is about dependency on God. That's right, your dependency on God. Question for you. Are you dependent on God? Like every day, are you dependent on God? Even when things are going good, are you like, God, I still need you right now. What up? A lot of times when things are going amazingly awesome, we sometimes forget about how much we are dependent on God, don't we? Back at you, PC. There are many times in David's life that he's in a dark place. And there are many times in his life that you can read about where he's having the best day ever. But the thing about the king is he understands and he recognizes his dependency on God. That's right. On the good days and the bad days, he is still dependent on God. And life is not always going to be a mountaintop experience like, I'm on top of the world, hey, woo, or everything is awesome. No, life is tough. It's full of highs and it's full of lows. And the truth is that we need to understand that with every breath we take, we are dependent on God. Each and every one of us must be dependent on God when things are going good and when everything sucks. And it's not easy. It is not easy. Matt Chasey, give us the third pattern that we can see from reading the Psalms. Ha ha, sure thing, PC. Now let me crush you, number 3. Woo, that rhymes, but don't worry, students, I do it all the time. Sorry, it just happened, Captain. I'm a poet, and of course I know it. Oh, boo! Jesus. Let's focus. Another thing that we can learn that King David does to help cope with his depression and anxiety is he has an outlet. A what? An outlet. That's right. Have an outlet. All of us have interests and talents. For me, I'm a sickly talented news reporter. Matt Chasey. Bing. That's right. What are you interested in or talented at? What are you interested in or talented at? That, students, can and should be your outlet. So if you or someone you know feels like they're going mental, then you need to use your talents and interests as an outlet. A what? An outlet. As a way to escape and deal with your dark place. PC, can you bring us home? King David's outlet is he wrote and sang songs to God about the details of the experiences to help to keep from going mental. So much so that we see his songs recorded in scriptures, just like the Psalms that we just read. Maybe for you, maybe you like to write or sing or dance or create or draw or paint or play sports or exercise. Those are healthy and creative outlets that you can use to escape that will help you relieve your stress and anxiety and even help you process your dark place. So when you're going through tough times or when you feel scared or alone or your anxiety is through the roof, the last thing you want to do is call out to God. Because trust me, it's tough at times to do that. But here is the beautiful thing. Check this out. When we drag ourselves to read and drink from the scriptures, we can let people like King David and the forefathers of our faith that have gone before us, they can be our voice. They can be our voice because as we read, their words become our words. Their cries become our cries, and their hope becomes our hope, and their faith becomes our faith. And God will meet us. He will equip us. He will strengthen us no matter what your dark place looks like. All right, Matt Chasey, why don't you give us a quick review? Deaf Toast PC, let's do this. Depression is common, so be like David and call out to God no matter how mental you feel. Stay strong because instant pluckification more than likely will not happen. But God will help and equip you to walk through it. In the good days and the bad days, we must be dependent on God and your interest and talent. That's your outlet. Knock, knock, students. Who am I? But I pray to you, Lord, in the name of your favor, in your great love, oh God, answer me with your salvation. Rescue me from the mire, do not let me sink. Deliver me from those who hate me. And from the deep waters, do not let the flood waters engulf me. And the depths swallow me up, and the pit closes over me, me. I'm Matt Chasey, and that's news to me. Thank you, Matt Chasey. All right, students, that's it for us. We love you and we miss you. We are having live chats this Sunday, so we're excited to see all of you in the Zoom Boom breakout rooms. Let's pray.